everybody. This is Jaime Martinez, TCGC Administrator, and Kim Boer, Color Guard VP. As promised, we are here with a little kind of refresher update before the in-person season starts. As we all know, we've started already with the virtual performances, which have been great, really exciting. We have all been through a lot in the past week with weather. And we're not even going to talk about how we're dealing with that because we're all dealing with it as much as we can, but we're just going to get right into it. So first I want to go over real quick the judging, because we have some questions about this, and we want to try to get through all the questions that we've had. So let me show you real quick. This went out in email. And so the only reason why I'm showing this is because it's a little different from WGI. WGI only is using 2 judges, and we are using 3 judges. So that has expanded the range of numbers that the judges have. And I know there was questions about how we get to our superior, excellent, good, first division, second division, third division ratings. And those numbers are here at the bottom. You can see if you got a 9 through 13, that you would get that Division 1 rating, and so on. 14-22 excellent, or Division 2, and 23 through 31 is a good or Division 3. So that's kind of where that's coming from. And again, it's a little different from WGI because of our 3 judge panel. And there's a typo on this one where it says we're using 1 judge for program. We're actually using 2 judges for program and 1 judge for skills. So Kim, I think that's pretty clear now. The only difference, I think, is we talked about before, where your numbers, you want the lower number, right? Compared to in the past, we've been wanting that higher number.
Yeah, there's been a little bit confusion about like box 1, box 5. So you got to let that go. This is a whole different system. So you actually want a lower number. So you actually want a 1, a 2, or 3. So that when those numbers are added up, you're looking for a lower score rather than a higher score, which, you know, we've all had to kind of just think differently about that.
And then we talked about a lot of different times, about the difference between the ranking and the rating. So maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
Right. So we are using those WGI sheets, and then that number adds up to the score, if you will, the information that Jaime just showed you, and that is your rating. That becomes your rating. And then we are doing a ranking. If there are 4 guards and around, then the judges will then rank those guards 1, 2, 3, 4. But you need to think of that as 2 separate things. Okay. So the reason we can't use the ratings is because it's possible that all 4 of those guards could have scored a 9. And so then it just becomes the judge's decision to put them in order the way they see fit, through all the information and through the show and the commentary and all the information. Then they will then rank them.
Right.
So it really has nothing to do with your rating.
So I do want to show you, I want to show everybody, because I know there was questions about where do I get this information. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm just going to go to Hayes Cadets, because that's one of my units I'm affiliated with. And so I click on Hayes Cadets, and even on the front page you can see, but this is the virtual week 1. And I know some people were asking, where do I get my score? Where do I get, you have to go to the website on Competition Suite. I don't think it shows on the app. So you would go here, view score summary, and this is where you would see the breakdown for the judges. Okay. And you can see, each judge, etc., and the total at the bottom, and the Competition Suite does that automatically for us. It shows our division rating, and so that's where you get that. And then you saw commentaries in there also. Hopefully you have set up your Competition Suite to where you have your phone number in there and you're getting a text from Competition Suite, and then that commentary, once it's uploaded and delivered to you, you get that text and it says your commentary is up, and you can listen to your commentary and share that with whoever you want or need to share with. So I know that was a little bit, now that we're kind of getting ourselves back into the groove of having shows, that's where that information is. You won't be able to see a recap. We aren't releasing recaps this year, just because it's not going to show us what we want to show, and it's going to be really confusing. But you can see placements on Flow Marching, and we did a big blast on social media on the placements. So that's all there. We're working through it, and I know we're all trying to find that information. So thank you to the first week of virtual groups for patience and getting through that with us. Anything else on the judging you can think of?
No, I think they seemed like they were happy with how all the virtual event went. So it's cool that we got that up and running, and we're going to get in-person up and running here soon. It was a good reminder, though, you saying, just talking about competition suite, it's a good reminder for everybody to go in and just kind of make sure we have all the correct information. Because I know even when I go to try and email, I'm like, well, that person's not there, or that person's not the band director, or I don't have this, or I don't have a phone number, I don't have. So it's at the beginning of the season here is a great reminder to go make sure all your info is updated. Everybody who you want on your staff list is in there or not in there, you know.
And it's a little tricky because we've asked you to do, it's just like there's so many different places where you're putting your information, but that information does not necessarily go to the right places in competition suite. So your phone number might be in one place, but it really needs to be on your personal profile. If your phone number is not there, you're not going to get the text, but it might be under like unit director, the unit director tab. That doesn't connect to the competition suite. That's only for like our purposes to contact you if we need to. So the other thing that went out, and I know it's a long document, and I know people don't read long documents, but I really hope that you do read this. So this one went out, and this is called the 2020 event protocols. And we're going to go, Kim is great because she wants us to have some cliff notes.
I don't need 8 pages.
But this was good for your parents, right? Or for your admin. This is on the website. It's under, it's been emailed. But one thing I want to highlight is this blue link right here. Click here for COVID Key Successful Contest Day. And not everybody has gone to that. So if I click that, it's going to take me to another sheet. And this is more toward the actual day of. And I know there was some questions about things, and we've had this every year. This has always been the link on your director packet, and you may or may not have clicked on it. So the stuff in red is all the things that have changed this year. So we're going to go through that real quick, not through this document, but we're going to go through Kim's kind of cliff notes.
Got it.
And yeah, you have it, right?
Yeah, I've got it. If I share it, everyone will make fun of all my tabs that are open, so I'm just going to read it.
I could share it on mine.
These are going to be some, just the short version of what I'm calling 2021 What to Expect guide. So I've kind of broken it down in my mind, just what to expect for directors and staff, and then performers and spectators. So I'm going to start with the directors first, just some information. You already know that masks are required at all times. Social distancing is required, and please try and do your best. I know, like in the hallways beforehand, whatever, that kind of stuff, like just keep that in mind, please. Share ticket and show requirements with your parents and fans that are going to be coming to the show. So that's super duper important. So our parents and our fans need to know that we do have a mask policy. There will be no cash tickets available on site. So most of the shows are going to have one of those good old QR codes, and it's going to be a pre-sale. You will, at most shows, be able to still purchase a ticket at the show if there are tickets available, but it would still be with that QR code. So still on your phone when you get there.
You would do it before you even walked into the building.
Yes.
There should be some, whether online or like on the TCGC website. And I know there's already been parents who have emailed me, where are the tickets? Where are the tickets? That's not going to come out until we are for sure. We know exactly how our blocks are going to go. And, because things are still changing with unit registration and all that kind of stuff. But don't worry, we'll give you a good amount of notice, and you can tell your parents. But I know some of you have already told your parents because, again, I've gotten emails.
So you're also going to want to make sure your parents buy the correct ticket. So you'll see, if you check out any of the schedules that are already posted on the website, you'll see how things are in blocks. So guards are in rounds of like 4 to 6, but then a couple of those rounds are put together to make a block. And that's what they're buying a ticket for, is a specific block. Okay, your unit is going to arrive at the contest site show ready. So that's a huge difference for us this year. You will enter the building only at your assigned check-in time, which we've kind of already talked about. And you need to read your director packet. Please, please, please. Here's why. Some of the show sites that we're using are show sites that we have used in the past. However, the flow of warm up and the whole process may have changed. And that is just, again, we're trying to reduce the footprint in the actual building. So if body warm up used to be in this area, it very well could be in a different area that's maybe closer to where you enter the building or closer to the gym itself. So that's going to be super important that some of that information could have changed from the past. Your floor, your props, your floor crew, everyone's going to stay with you through the warm up flow. So when you go into the building, when you check in for your warm up time and you go into the building, you're going to take everything with you. Your floor crew, you know, if you have those extra people from that travel with you, will hang out in the hallway with your floor or whatever and move that around. Your personal belongings will also stay with you at all times. So there's not going to be like, leave my stuff in the hall or leave this or leave that. So even things like, think ahead, like your shoes. What are you going to do with your shoes? You know, some people have talked about like maybe a parent bringing a wagon, or I've even used one of those pop-up like laundry baskets or whatever. But you're going to literally have to take everything with you. So be thinking about that kind of stuff. There will be no speaker provided in any of the warm-up areas. So this is a big change also for directors. In the past, we're used to just having that provided for us. So if you want to use music, you're going to need to bring your own speaker. Okay. And then there will be no sound check offered. If you're worried about that, my recommendation is when you go into setup, just check in with your sound table. They'll be able to tell you if it's loaded or not, if it's ready to go, you know, to make you feel a little more comfortable with that. If you do have someone at the sound table, we're going to ask that you know, keep social distancing in mind and not sit right next to the sound operator. Your floor crew will sit in an assigned area of the gym. And so this could vary from gym to gym, depending on the gym. Some big gyms may have a section blocked off in the front for your floor crew. Other people who don't have that option, they may be literally on the side, or they may be in the back. There may be chairs on the side, or there may be a row or two of bleachers in the back for your floor crew. Okay, but they will come in with you and then leave with you as well. You must exit the building immediately following your performance and take everything with you. Okay. Your director badge this year, I'm sorry to say, it will get you into the show. It may not get you into the gym. So here's how that's going to work. You're going to take your director's badge to the ticket booth, okay, where the spectators enter. And if there is availability for that block only, then you will be able to get a wristband. But we cannot guarantee that. So you will absolutely be able to see your unit, but we cannot guarantee that you're going to be able to get in to see other units at this time. No food or drink will be allowed in the gym, and there will be limited concessions, maybe or maybe not, depending on show to show, site to site. So that was kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, before we go on to the other sections, let's just kind of dig in a little bit more on some of those things. So sure. Floor crew, we've had questions about floor crew, and we want to make it clear that you have your wristbands. You get your 8 wristbands to use as you normally do, but there's no backside seating, right, except for when you're in the gym performing. And so your floor crew can be those 8 people plus your JV unit or secondary unit, whatever is not performing. But that's it. We're really asking you to not use or ask Kimbu or Guard to come help.
Right. Right. And so that leads me to also something that has kind of come up, is everyone is going to need to practice setup, tear down, all of that, because for all of us, like, we're all used to helping each other on and off the floor. So this is going to be very different. So I highly encourage you to practice in and out of the gym. So I've been telling people I've been watching the live stream from the Florida shows just to see how they're doing it, and they're very much doing it the same as far as meaning their units are bringing their own floors into the gym. They set it up. They have to go get their equipment, set their equipment. They do their show. They move their equipment. They fold their floor and out the door. Now, just something to keep in mind is going to be the timing of the announcement. So that announcement's going to be made at 1.5 minutes. Like you're going to have that's your setup time. So I highly encourage you to practice your setup, but then especially your tear down. So when you're getting out of the gym, I think you're going to have enough time that you don't feel rushed. You're going to be able to fold your floor. You're not going to have time to do your fan fold, fancy, whatever you want, but you should be able to fold it neatly enough to either snake it out the door or get onto your cart another way, and then you can take care of it either outside the building or back at home. So that'll kind of be up to you.
Yeah, definitely. And we always encourage you to practice those things, but especially this year because we have built an interval time a little bit longer, so we can have some space between units coming on the floor, but we don't want to take advantage of that time to where we might end up getting behind, or because if we get behind, there's no way to really catch up because the judges we need to clear the gym during our breaks. Certain times we've gotten backed up and for whatever reason, we're like, okay, well, we can take that break out or whatever. We really need to have our breaks stay. And so really, like Kim had already talked about, look at the schedule on the website because those blocks are there already. And you can, if you look deeply into the time, like each block has a longer break and than usual. And then, we have our meal breaks and things like that, but definitely practice that.
So speaking of kind of second units, I know we've had a couple of questions about like, what if I have a second unit? How does that work? Your second unit is certainly welcome to help your first unit or vice versa if you're from the same school. However, they will not be able to hang out in the building during the downtime or off time. So it's not necessarily that you have to leave the premises, although some schools I know are having certain parking, want you to park and all that good stuff at a certain time. But you're welcome to hang out outside. But meaning you don't have to leave, you don't have to go back to your school, but you aren't going to be able to hang out in the building or in the gym watching other units, unfortunately.
Yeah. And just, something you were talking about, we're working with Flow Marching to stream all our live events, our in-person events. That isn't for sure, but we are in that process right now. And hopefully that'll give you something to do outside or, free up some space in the gym. But okay, so what else do we have on our list? Floor crew, we got our second units, practicing your show day in and out. Masks for everybody is important. Please, with the parents, we don't want to put our show hosts in a position to tell somebody they can't go in if they're not wearing their mask. Just make sure that is very well aware to your spectators or your fans that are coming.
Maybe just something that came up in our board meeting on Sunday was just about like penalties and things like that. So
yes, we're gonna break some news here, and we'll see who watched all the way to the end of the video.
Right. So for this year only, if you are under time for equipment or show time, you will only be given a warning. There will be no penalty, so to speak, for that. And that is because, like, hello, it was already like COVID and then winter hit. And so no one's been in school. So we understand. So this is to encourage you to come to the show. If you have 30 seconds, that's great. If you have a complete show, that's great. So we really just want to encourage everyone to continue to come and to do all the things and just know that you're not going to be penalized if you are under time this year. However, all safety rules, precautions, all of that are still in effect. So you need to understand that. So boundaries for sure, overtime, those types of things. Yeah, all of that. So the way that we were going to, you go ahead.
Yeah, I would say the board decided how we were going to handle that. And because we do still have our TMP person, and that TMP person is going to be giving you your information just like normal. they'll still be timing you and everything, and they just won't give you the penalty for being under time, but there will be a penalty assessed for, like Kim was saying, boundaries and safety issues, and interval times. So if you go over your interval, and so the board decided the way to do that would be to reduce ranking, right?
Correct. Right.
So if for some reason you were first place, but you were all over the boundary lines and you were up in the stands and stuff, then there goes, you're going to go from first to second. And so that shouldn't be an issue, but we do need to have some way to keep everyone in check with those rules.
And then one last thing on that, just while we talked about all that, like I know that this, I mean, challenge. That's what this year has been so far for everyone, especially here in Texas. But please keep doing your thing. Please don't worry about, I only have 30 seconds. We're only in practice clothes. Especially like, I know like this week is a big virtual week and everybody has not been able to see their kids or be in the gym or whatever. But if you have a practice video, it's okay. It's great. It doesn't matter. Like, just keep that in mind, so whatever you have is fine, and try not to be so worried that like, oh, they were in practice clothes, or oh, we only have a minute done, or oh, I haven't seen them in a week, so that's not perfect. Like, it's certainly okay. If ever there was a year, it's this year, and it's okay.
Right. And we talked about this in the symposium, which we're working on editing the videos now that we all have power and water and things, or most of us do. But just as a couple of little things from the symposium, to get the right points, the points that we all want, to get that Division I and Division II ratings, the kids need to be trained. Don't give them like normal stuff. Like, don't give them crazy choreography that they're not able to do. The judges, I mean, like the downstairs judge can only see so much on that video, and then even when they're in person, so you're not gonna. There's no excellent, or there's no vocabulary subcaption. There's no excellence. Like, it's just about doing what they know how to do well and get that credit, and that's how it's going to be done. There's no comparison within the sheets. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but I know that's kind of it's a different mentality that we have to get over for this year.
Yeah, it is.
Still,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm struggling that with my own team. Like, I haven't seen them in over a week, and like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna pull out of the show. Like,
but you can't, because you're hosting the first West Side show, so
it
you have
is
to
what
be
it
there.
is, people. This year, it is what it is, and we're going to be happy that we are able to do color guard at all. So,
yes. Anything else you can think of? I think there was one question, and as I'm looking at my notes, so units, we're not going to add any extra precautions as far as having you fill out any forms for COVID things. We ask that you do all that stuff before you come, do the temperature checks. We're not doing any temperature checks on units or spectators. We ask that everyone does that before they come, and please keep everybody safe. And so that's all going to be on. We're going to leave you to do what your district and the state is asking to do. I think there was one other thing, but if you have anything else. Oh, I know. The parking, if your unit is carpooling to a show, because some people aren't using buses or whatever the issues are, we're not going to have anything special. You just need to communicate with your students and your parents where to meet outside wherever on the campus, and but we're not going to have any special place for you to park or anything like that. You just park in the spectator parking, or wherever when you enter a facility or the parking lot for a show, wherever they tell you to go, basically, then just find your place. But I think all of our show sites, except for maybe a couple we've been at before, you kind of know the lay of the land, and we'll have the show. The packets will come out at least the week of the show, so all the information will be in there. But just some things we're trying to make sure everyone knows, and try to get some of those questions answered for you. Anything else, Kim, you can think of?
Nope. Here we go.
I want to make sure that we get everything, and I'm sure we're going to miss something. So if you have questions, always email, and we'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. But like Kim said, don't be we all have this idea that we want to put our shows out and have great shows and all that kind of stuff, but the judges understand. They know what's going on, and no, they're not just going to give everybody a 1 just because you're there, but they understand that we're in a different place, and everyone's doing different things. So just have a good beginning, have a good ending, wherever that is. If that's a minute, then make it like a good minute, and you'll get credit. I mean,
For sure.
yeah, you can see those kind of things happening in the first virtual week. You can still get a 1 with a minute of show, if that's what your goal is. But I think everyone's goal should be just to have a show, right? Just to put something out
Yeah.
there. And
yeah, this is just about having an opportunity for the kids to do color guard.
yeah, absolutely.
Whatever that means.
Yes, and everyone's going to be different. We've said that from the beginning. Everyone's going to be more different preparedness. So, okay, Kim, thank you so much. We're almost there. Next week is our first in-person show, March 6th at Klein Collins High School. It's going to be a year to our last show last year, and we're really excited, and we really thank our show hosts, and we really want to make sure that we treat our show hosts well, be patient, just like we want our judges to have grace with us. We want to have grace with our show hosts and our judges and our staff, and can't wait to see everybody. We'll see everybody in a couple weeks, and keep those virtual videos coming. Keep videoing as much as you can, and we'll talk to you later.